Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome to Friendsim 2. Now, you might have remembered previously, we went through the Salvation chapter of Volume 13, but this is now for Revolution. And just to kind of go over some of the previous content warnings, Friendsim 2 generally contains content warnings for violence, death, discussion of imperialism/colonialism, language, and suggestive themes. Content warning for specific routes can be clicking on the route title. So for Volume 13, The Tower and At the End of the World, depiction and discussion of death, depiction of minor body horror, being stalked/hunted, discussions of genocide, depictions of blood, and depictions of violence. So, let's just get right into it, shall we? So, I did actually start going through the Volume 13, but I realized, oh snap, hey, I wasn't actually recording. But Mars Pen Journey will continue through Volume 13, The Tower at the End of the World. Continue through Volume 13. Player, obviously, /viewer, discretion is advised. CBD keeps adjusting things in a way that feels distinctively nervous to you. Not that he doesn't know what he's doing, but there's something so uncomfortable about it all. Part of you doesn't even want to say anything. Part of you is so burnt out on everything that you just want to not feel anything anymore. But the other bigger part of you can't do that. The part of you that cares so much about the people around you. So, is he doing okay?
Well, that's a heck of a question, isn't it? I've never been right up to a high-blood ship before, you know?
You thought he's been flying for the rebels for a bit.
Well, sure, but that's mostly transport runs. I know, I seem like I've got it all together, but I'm really very nervous.
You tactically refrain from commenting on exactly how together he actually seems to have it, because honestly, what's the point? You know, it must have been hard making such a big change and ending up helping the rebels the way he did. ZBD shrugs.
Well, sure, but the rebels are good people. Who knows what would have happened to me if I'd gone off-world in the Empire? Probably I'd just be some throwaway tech somewhere. Can you imagine?
Gives a short, genuine laugh. Unfortunately, yeah, you can't imagine that pretty strongly. It's not a pleasant thought, but it's right there. You've seen what happened to your friends who went off-world, and it's pretty universally unpleasant. You're glad that didn't happen to him.
Well, thanks. That means a lot to...
He trails off, and the nervous adjustments become more frantic as Zibidi furrows his brown cheeks his head. Okay, is he gonna tell you what's wrong?
Nothing to worry about. That clown just told me I've got to go in real fast, and I'm worried the ship might come apart.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty bad, actually.
Only bad if you have a bad attitude. But also, yeah, you should definitely strap in.
You sit down in your seat and strap yourself in as tightly as you can, holding onto the handle and side tightly as ZBD continues to make adjustments on the control panel. So all this seems very bad. Can you actually get them down?
Oh, sure. I've been through way worse. One time, well, I had to ride the edge of an Imperial bombing run to try to pull one of our ground teams on a colony world. They didn't make it, but at least I tried, right?
That sounds an awful lot like the other story that we heard in the, from, I forget his name, the Bronze Blood, not Salvation Run. Yeah, the Bronze Blood Salvation Run. Except they managed to save one person. Yeah, that didn't definitely count for something. Better than the alternative in any case.
Yeah.
You cut in through the cloud layer, and the planet suddenly snaps into view below you. It looks like you're actually over the ocean, a part of Alternia you have extremely mixed feelings about in general. But at least CBD seems competent in spite of his nervous energy. He looks terrified, but he's steady as he brings the ship down to his shaky glide, sweeping in low and lower toward the shoreline.
We'll land so you can do your thing, and I can check out the ship. Probably okay to fly again, but you gotta make sure.
You feel like you should be panicking a lot more than you are. That's kind of your whole thing. Except not anymore. You're just feeling so emotionally flat lately. So completely burnt out on everything. So ready to be done with all this and go home. So you just sit quietly and watch your planet get closer and closer. And then you're there. The landing itself is surprisingly gentle. Reminds you of the slightly bumpy landing on an airline. The mundanity of it is almost shocking. If that were an emotion you were actually, I feel like it should be if that were an emotion you were able to actually feel anymore. You unbuckle yourself and step out of the co-pilot's seat, stretching your legs eagerly. Behind you, CBD is up and out of the pilot's seat almost before you can even.
Well, we're here. Wherever here is exactly anyway. Your friend didn't say.
Zibidi laughs nervously and glances around.
I'll just check out the ship, and we can get going when you're done with what you need to do. Wonder where we are.
He pulls out a small palm husk and taps the screen a few times, puzzled expression on his face. After a minute, the expression changes. He's not puzzled anymore, he's terrified.
Oh shit! We have to get out of here as soon as we can!
Wait, what's wrong?
We're in an Imperial exclusion zone!
He looked down his palm husk now. You don't know what that is exactly, but that sounds pretty bad.
It's very bad!
He's starting to hyperventilate. This is reminding you uncomfortably of the way he was when you first met him, uncertain and indecisive.
I just need a minute to get my shit together, okay?
He closes his eyes, takes a breath, and centers himself. When he opens his eyes again, you can see the same easy confidence you remember for a couple of cycles ago.
Okay, here's what's happening. I'm checking this thing, and we're getting out of here. You stay put, and don't touch anything that can break.
Yeah, about that. You really need to go out and walk around a little bit. You promise you'll stay close to the ship.
Good, because we're leaving as soon as this is ready.
You step out of the ship and into a wide, purple-pink expanse of sand and a rock punctuated by sand dunes and various rock formations that jet up and reach toward the sky. There's something oddly foreboding about it all. You're not sure exactly why. It's nice enough, for once. There's no one is trying to kill you. There's no blood or dead bodies. There's no reminders of the constant existential of horror of the Empire here. No drones, no military. Nothing other than the sand and the sea and the sky. Honestly, you're not even sure what makes this an exclusion zone in the first place. Maybe the ocean has some connection to sea dwellers? Are they protected on Eternia or something? All in all, there's nothing around that makes your weird danger sense make any sense. Well, okay, this is something. Off in the distance, you can see a massive structure rising up to touch the sky. It looks like honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is a sandcastle right larger than life. Some kind of castle or fortress or palace. Maybe this is why this is an exclusion zone. Surely this is where some kind of high blood lives. Somewhere deep inside, your friendship senses are going off, but they're accompanied by your danger senses, and you're pretty sure you should start listening to those more. As you stand there gawking, you notice a figure moving among the sand dunes. As they draw closer, you suddenly recognize who this is. It's Amelie. You're sure it is. The silhouette of her horns and the outfit she's always had on are enough for you to pick her out even before she approaches. It doesn't look like she sees you yet, and you're wondering if you should head over there and see what's going on. Then again, you're not supposed to be running around right now. You're supposed to be staying out of sight and waiting for the ship to get fixed. Last time we said we head over her, so let's stay out of sight. As much fun as you think it would be to run over and say hi to Amelie, you get the feeling that this would be a very bad thing to do. You don't know why you think this, just a sense that there's something more in that tower, something deeply unsettling. So you stay out of sight, and after a while Amelie leaves. For a brief moment you think she sees you. Her head lifts, and then her shoulders slump, and she turns to walk away down the beach. You walk back toward the ship, moving away from that weird tower thing. After maybe about 10 minutes of walking, you're back inside the ship.
So, you've finally come to your senses. A bit late. But who am I to judge? You've caused no real harm, after all.
Are you okay?
You open your eyes. You didn't realize you were even closing them. Zibidi is there, wringing his hands and looking worried.
What were you doing anyway? Looked like you were just kind of zoning out.
He smiles nervously and shrugs.
You know what? Don't worry about it. Ship's ready, so we can go.
Oh yeah, the ship. You glance back toward the tower, and for a second you wonder if you should tell him about it. But at this point, what difference would it make?
My dear reader, I've said this all along. There is a way that things are meant to be here. A certain natural order to this planet. A finely machined system.
You're sitting in the ship already strapped in place. You don't remember doing that, but it doesn't matter. You're already in the air, pulling steadily up and away from the beach.
What do you want to do now? I've got to get back to base, but I can drop you somewhere first. It's not a big deal at all.
Oh, yeah. You guess you could probably go to the Jade Caverns. You can give him some general directions. This time, you're painfully aware of when you close your eyes, and you let that sensation of the ship's movements lull you into a half-sleep as the time drops away.
Honestly, I'm amazed you didn't just accept this to begin with. You always struck me as being exceptionally pragmatic.
Arrive back at the Jade Caverns a couple hours later. The vision of the tower looming on the horizon is still vivid in your mind, but you're sure that you made the right decision. Things are tense, but they're okay for a while. You settle into a pleasant routine with Lynira, Daria, and Bronia, and you think they forgive you. Another pedigree, and that's about how long this lasts.
If you'd simply listened to me in the very beginning, your life would be so much simpler. I warned you, and you insisted that you knew best.
In the end, you can't stay in the caverns. You knew that eventually would happen, but it's still a shock when the drones show up with Bronia's replacements. She and Lynira make sure you and Daria get out the back entrance, but Bronia refuses to come with you. She says they won't go looking for one random jade, but the matriarch of the caverns. That's different.
You thought you could make a difference, but you failed to recognize something. All of this is inevitability. All of this, it was always going to happen. You never had to bear witness to it.
You and Daria arrive at the city right before dawn and find where Trixie's hiding out, and maybe Elwood's still there too. Daria doesn't want to speak to you anymore, and Trixie, she just looks betrayed. You spend the world's most awkward day watching them get drunk together. Elwood is nowhere to be found. That evening, you leave without saying another word. You're trying to get in touch with Malik, but you can't seem to get through to him. His shooter hasn't been active for a week, and you keep checking the Imperial alert to see if there's any notification about him, but nothing ever shows up. You go back to their base, but the building is nothing more than a burnt-out husk. You suspect that the Legis Corpus were responsible.
You chose to see this.
You spend another 3 days in the city, desperately trying to stay out of sight. It isn't easy, but you had a lot of experience at this point. Your palm husk is just about drained, but not enough that you can't check the news to see the story about the apprehended gold bloods that escaped from their fleet assignments, about the olive and bronze blood rebels killed in a gunfight with legislators while trying to get back to their stolen ship, about the rogue showmaster who turned into the Imperial courts by his ever-loyal Kismesis.
All you had to do was go back home. The simplest thing in the world. I warned you, simply out of concern for you. Your mistake was thinking that my concern was born out of malice. But, my dear reader, I never hated you.
You think that another paragraph passes as you spend your time running and hiding in and out of the city. Friends disappear. Amnesia and Terona are nowhere to be found. Wan Shi posts something about the ascension, and then nothing. You go back to the caverns where Laqueen was hiding out, hoping to find someone that you know. Of course, he's gone too. You don't have any idea where. There's no trace of what happened to him, and if he's left you any indication of it, it was wiped out some time in the last couple paragraphs. You spend the nights looking up at the stars, hoping that your friends up in the orbit are okay. But the truth of it is, you don't think that they are.
Everything I said, everything I did, it was born only out of concern, out of a deep and abiding worry for your circumstances.
After a while, you're running out of places to go. You'll try to get back to the sea to find Trixie and Daria again. Maybe they'll be willing to let bygones be bygones, but they're gone too. Places you once knew are abandoned. Drones and Legis Corpus patrols all everywhere. You can't seem to get in touch with any of your old friends. You're holding out hope that there's at least you can get to Celsantesia. The last two, the ones you sure are still alive at least.
If nothing else, you cannot say I didn't warn you.
And then one day you see it. A small bulletin about Legis Corpus finally apprehending 2 rebel Teobloods in a small town not far away from the outlet. And then you know, there's no coming back from this. No grand rescues or daring escapes.
If only you had simply listened to me, none of this would ever have happened.
How much longer do you even have on Eternia? Eventually you know that someone will find you, and on that day you'll finally be free of this place. But you can't bring yourself to seek that out, so you keep running and you keep hiding and you keep thinking the same thing again and again, the same thought that won't leave you. The worst part of every tragedy is the outcome is inevitable. The conclusion is foregone even before you read the first word of the first page. And maybe this is a tragedy after all. True bad ending. Yeah, that is no way out. You walked away from it all. You thought things would be different this time. But let us continue from our load states. Continue next volume. Obviously, I'm just gonna head over to her. So basically, same intro, but we're gonna head over and try and talk. You start to move out from around the dunes that conceal you from view, walking slowly to Amelie. It looks like she notices you, but she doesn't seem to react very strongly. She just lifts her head, then looks back down to the beach. You rush over to where she's standing, your little feet leaving small tracks behind you in the damp sand.
It's you.
This is the part where you usually cheerfully introduce yourself and start to explain the whole situation, except you haven't exactly been feeling the most positive lately. It seems like the closer you get to your final goal, the harder things become, the more everything feels like it's slipping through your fingers.
What are you doing here? This is an exclusion zone.
Oh, yeah, you already knew that.
So, what are you doing here?
Romeo shrugs and looks away off toward the tower in the distance.
Never mind. I should go.
Wait, you decide now is actually the best time to explain things. You gotta way off this planet. You gotta wait that she can get away from everything. A way she can be safe. You're used to a mixed bag of reactions to the speech, but Romeo actually looks genuinely excited.
Oh? You know a way to escape the Empire?
Well, yeah, that part was definitely implied.
Oh, good. You need to come with me. I have someone you should meet.
For a moment, you feel like maybe you should turn back to actually go back to the ship and just wait until it's fixed, to actually listen for once. But something inside stops you. You already made that fateful choice, and now you're in it for the duration. So you follow Emil along the beach toward the tower in the distance. It's a walk straight in silence as the looming shadow above grows deeper and deeper. You enter through a massive gate into the grand hall that stretches up to a staircase at the far end. It's opulent, reminds you of a castle back on Earth, but done up in a strangely organic style of so many Artarian structures.
You need to be very careful in here. The mistress of this place, you need to show her proper respect.
Yeah, you can do that, but before you meet her, is Emil doing okay?
Am I doing okay?
She laughs and shakes her head.
What a strange question to ask.
It's just that a lot of your old friends weren't exactly thrilled to see you back on account of the whole abandoning them for sweeps thing.
Oh, well, you and I were hardly friends. More like, business partners. Sometimes an arrangement does not work. It is the way of things after all.
You don't really think of it like that, but she does make a good point. Okay, cool. So what about the woman who runs this place. She must be pretty important. High blood, obviously. Maybe a violet? This seems like the kind of ostentatious environment they enjoy.
Not exactly. Come with me.
Ramil leads you up the staircase and toward the back of the grand hall, then around a corridor and into a hallway. But then you're walking. She stops. She freezes.
Hold on. Wait.
Wait, what is it? What's happening?
She's here. She's awake.
Wait, who is awake? I'm purposely gonna fail. You slip and start to fall forward only to catch yourself at the last minute, but it's too late. Nikki grabs you and hauls you out in the open. She's strong, too strong. You don't stand a chance of getting away. Not that you don't try. You thrash and wriggle and try and slip out of her grip of a little steel. It's useless. She holds you without a shred of mercy, without even a glimmer behind her cybernetic eyes of recognition or compassion. Your vision is fading. Nikki squeezes her hands around your throat. I thought we were friends. The council will see you now.
You move the little stick around.
And that's what controls the character.
No, you don't control him. You keep the cans from hitting his head, see?
Yeah, I see. This is neat. It doesn't let me have anything like this. Doesn't let me have anything.
I'm sorry. That sounds horrible.
Something feels off. You don't see any of them.
Psst. I can hear you, you know.
Who are you talking to?
Don't worry about it. Just an old friend. One I expect we'll be seeing very soon.
I'm imagining this is Bordor and, Arya? Not is it Arya? The red, rust blood that had wings in the normal thing.
Well, that made me lose the game.
We should stop playing anyway. He's going to wonder where you went.
I hate him so much. He's not even my real Lysis.
And you need to get back before she gets worried.
You're pretty sure you're dead, actually.
Nonsense. Death is just a state of mind. My young friend here can send you right back.
Do I have to? I wanted to keep playing.
Later. Remember what we talked about before?
I know. Preserving the sense of narrative investment is critical to ensuring a positive outcome.
That's right.
Fine.
Hold on. Wait.
Right. Maria quickly grabs you and pulls you off to the side into the massive dining room. She hastily pulls you onto the long table draped with a massive table clock and tucks the two of you underneath.
Be quiet. She's coming.
From the hallway, you can hear the sound of heavy footfalls. Someone's coming. You huddle next to Emil, struggling to control the panic that's rising up inside you. When you see the figure in the hallway, you almost break cover and run to greet her. It's your old friend Nikki. Except something's off about her. Something that looks oddly familiar and fundamentally wrong. As she steps into the dining hall, it's not hard to see what it is. Half her body looks like it's been augmented with various cybernetic enhancements or replacements. And the way she moves around the room reminds you of a wolf trying to sniff out her prey. Mio pulls a hand over your mouth, but you don't think you need to be reminded that would be extremely bad if Nikki were to find you. You can barely control the shaking in your hand. You need to keep yourself hidden, stay in the blind spots. I don't know what game this is from. Finally, Nikki glances around the room once more, grits her teeth, and turns to stomp out again. Next to you can feel Ramil shaking. The two of you sit and wait for a while more, and eventually your heart stops hammering in your chest, and you can breathe normally again.
We should be okay now.
Okay, before you do anything else, you need to know what the heck is happening here. Remember, Nikki, you knew her, you trained together and everything.
I doubt your friend has retained much of herself, sadly.
But what happens? You've seen some pretty horrific stuff over the last 6 night cycles, but this is something you've never seen before. Emil shrugs her shoulders and stares down at the floor.
I don't know what to tell you. The two of us...
Oh, the two of us, we've only been here for a little over a week. Okay, sure, that's definitely information you have now, but why is she even here? Why is she even like that? Once again, Emil shrugs.
I still don't know what you want me to say. I didn't know her. I don't know why any of this is happening, but maybe she can answer your questions.
The heiress. You walk toward the grand hall, pausing on the stairs briefly to look over the cavernous structure. It's huge, and it feels impressively official, but there's something weirdly impersonal about it all. It's like everything here was designed to convey only the sense of imposing formality, but not to serve the needs of anyone in particular. Your chance to reflect on what this all might mean is cut short as Ramil motions for you to follow her up the other side of the stairs.
When we meet her, please mind yourself. Be careful.
Oh, is this person dangerous? Ramil shakes her head.
No, not that. It's hard to explain.
Ramil leads you up another series of stairs and down a lengthy hallway that ends in a massive door. On the other side of the door is one of the largest, most impressive bedrooms you've been in. Unlike the grand hall below, this room actually has a much more personal feel to it, as if someone actually lives here. Before you can fully take in your surroundings, you hear someone moving in from a nearby balcony.
Who are you, and what are you doing here?
Teresa, pleasure. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, this is bad. Standing in front of you is the face you only know from Imperial propaganda into her nightmarish Twitter feed.
I said, who are you, and what are you doing here?
Tisra Tethys, the heiress to the entirety of Alternian Empire, and you're standing in her bedroom, and she's holding a very large, very sharp-looking trident. You don't have much time. I didn't even click anything. You start to stammer out a reply, but Tisra takes a step closer to you.
Give me one good reason I shouldn't kill you where you stand.
Your Majesty.
I told you never to call me that!
Tisra wheels to stare at Ramil, who, when she speaks again, her tone is different.
I told you not to call me that.
I'm sorry, Teresa.
What the hell is happening? Tisra turns to you, but slower this time. Before she can ask you who you are a third time, Ramil interrupts.
This is an alien. The one that's been on the alert network. They say that they know a way out. A way off the planet.
Something in Tisa's eyes lights up and shifts her weight back, planting the Triton on the ground.
Is this true? You know of a way to leave?
Of course, you've been working on the specifics, but you definitely have a plan and you're definitely working on it. Tisa examines you for a minute and her face is impossible to read. And then, without warning, she reaches up and grabs the crown off her head, tossing it across the room to land on in the corner. With a heavy sigh, she tosses her Triton aside as if it were a toy she was done with. And you get the feeling this woman standing in front of you isn't the heiress so much as she's just Tisa.
If that's true, then come with me.
Tisa leads you and Ramil all into a large balcony overlooking the ocean. You didn't realize when you were climbing all those stairs just how high up you are. The entire scene has you a little bit awestruck. Tisa looking at you like she notices.
You're not used to our world, are you?
You shake your head. You spent time here a couple sweeps ago, but you're mostly hanging out in a couple specific places. You never saw anything like this.
It's impressive, isn't it?
You nod enthusiastically. You're still trying to sort out why she's talking to you so casually, but you figure a little bit of positivity can't hurt.
It's a prison. An opulent prison of shining glass with gilded walls, but a prison all the same.
She stares out over the water, frowning.
Remily, can you give us a moment?
Ramil nods silently and fades back into the bedroom, leaving you and Tisa standing alone together on the balcony. There's something about Tisa that strikes you as being oddly familiar, like someone you met in another life in a dream of a dream. The memory of someone who's lived her whole life under a shadow.
I suppose you have questions.
Yeah, you do. You feel the shake of your head as if without clear out the fog as you feel foaming over your mind. Heavy is the heart that wears the crown. So what is she doing here?
There are a great many answers to that question. Perhaps you'd consider being more specific.
Well, you kind of expect that should be, running things. She's not the Empress, but doesn't she have responsibility in the Empire all the same?
Of course I have responsibilities. It's my responsibility to wait until it's time for me to fight her imperious condescension. And then it's my responsibility to kill or die.
She spits out the words with a sneer, and when she says next is dripping with sarcasm so obvious that even you pick up on it.
So yes, I suppose I have responsibilities after all. Important ones, truly vital to this great empire.
What about our chitter? Trisha shakes her head, laughing softly. Did you say something funny? You're trying to be serious.
No, it's just that it hasn't been my chitter for several cycles now. One of Remilly's duties here is to maintain it and provide the sort of content that the Empire has decided I should produce.
Trisha doesn't seem to like the idea of her own chitter has been posting very much, and when you think back on it, there definitely seems to be a distinct shift in the tone. Around the time she stopped talking to Krita, which, are we able to actually talk to? See. Yeah. Profile not found. Yeah. Krita's still there. There she is again. Yeah. Yeah, so right here, it's like, hey, I've been talking a lot, like maybe something to think about. And then it's messed those rebels up. So between 9 and 8 cycles ago. Interesting. Oh, Trisha looks angry.
Why would I be angry? Why would I seethe with unbridled disgust at what they did?
Trisha looks away and strange looks comes over her face. Does she want to talk about Krita?
Why would I want to talk about her? About a woman I only knew briefly.
Well, you read her Twitter post and it seems like they were close.
Of course. It doesn't matter. What's one more reason to hate the Empire on top of a mountain of them?
That's certainly true. Well, this is... You weren't expecting the heiress to have such a negative view of the Empire, especially since it seems like she had some hope of things could be improved.
Improved? That's a twisted joke of a thought, isn't it? That this place could be anything other than what it was engineered to be.
You feel a shock run up your back, and once again the memory of the impossibly old house hits you. Wait, what does she know about that?
About what? About how the Empire is designed by her imperious condescension to be a place where your worst impulses are rewarded?
Yeah, there's definitely all you're talking about. You know what? Maybe this isn't the kind of thing you should be talking about right now. You feel a strange sense of pressure, as if you're being seen once more. It's gone almost immediately, but you can't deny that it was real. So... But isn't she the heiress, though? Can't she just do what she wants? Can't she just leave and go wherever she pleases? Trisha shakes her head and frowns.
If only it were that simple. But there are reasons I can't leave anymore.
It strikes you as odd that she chose this specific way to phrase things.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Never mind. It's not important right now. Trisha narrows her eyes, but she doesn't say anything else. So, what happened to Nikki? You were trying to keep all the panic out of your voice.
Your friend is dead.
I'd even get to finish reading that. That's unfortunate, but... Okay, yeah, so... Trisha thinks friends... Trying to keep the panic out of your voice, but you don't think that you're really succeeding. Worried about your friend, she seems... What? No, she's not. You just saw her a few minutes ago. It looked like she's been through something, but it wouldn't be the first cybernetic friend you have.
No. Your friend isn't there anymore. Whatever they left, that's someone else. Something else.
Ooh, that doesn't seem good. But why would anyone do that to her?
Because every palace needs a loyal bark beast.
Is Nikki keeping her here? The heiress actually laughs at you when you say this. Wait a minute, what did you just say?
You honestly believe that she holds me here? That this bundle of steel and hatred makes the smallest difference in what I choose to do?
Yes? You saw Nikki before and she was terrifying. You think that she'll probably give even Chizzer a run for her money.
I said before she was this place's loyal bark beast.
Chizzer's gaze flits downward and down, a frown crosses her face.
Maybe that was too harsh of me. I cannot bring myself to hate her, only to feel my heart break for what she has become.
So if that's the case, why can't you just leave? She said it was a prison, but if nothing keeps her here...
I didn't say that. I said that Nike isn't the one keeping me here. There are other reasons I'm bound to this place.
She glances back toward the bedroom where Meal is standing, patiently waiting.
I was never able to muster the cruelty required to walk away.
So, what's Ramil doing here then? If you're wondering about her before, if she's an artist but her chitter's deactivated, you honestly thought she might have been killed.
For all that she's been forced to become, she might as well have been. Remily is... She serves me as I see fit, but she serves the Empress above all else, and the Empress's hidden left hand.
Hidden left hand?
Yes, the one that holds the dagger.
Tizra's face goes dark as she leans back and stares over the water.
So she has her place here. She assists me how she can, and she has her specific duties for the Empress, which include, I believe, spying on me.
Chizra heaves out a long sigh.
I can't hold it against her. The alternative would surely have been unpleasant.
Why isn't she,
I can assure you that I don't.
Why isn't she trying to kill you or anything? You thought that the heiress to a galactic empire of untold cruelty would be maybe a little bit more hostile?
You've met so many in your time, have you?
Well, actually, you gotta have 2 nickels and all that stuff. And neither of them were particularly mean to you. But you thought that she was different than that. She had a real sense somehow that Treasure is going to be someone with a real threat.
You don't know me very well, obviously.
Treasure sighs and turns back toward the bedroom.
Is that sufficient? Have I provided adequate illumination to sate your curiosity?
Yeah, honestly, this is a lot more than you expected.
Remily, I suppose we should provide our guest with some refreshment. Can you go fetch something?
Oh, of course, Teresa. I'll go right away.
As soon as Ramil walks out of the room, Teresa turns back to you, eyeing you skeptically.
Now, back to you. I've answered your questions, so I would ask one of my own in turn. You mentioned leaving this place before. What exactly are you saying?
You think you can help her?
And how exactly do you propose to help me?
Well, you see, there are people that don't exactly love what the Empress is about, and it seems like maybe she's the kind of person who might be okay with that.
So essentially, you're asking me if I want to openly support the rebels that wage war against my own empire?
Yes. Chizza laughs at you.
If only I could. I hate this empire. I hate everything it stands for and what it does to its people. But it's hardly that simple. The left hand is always watching.
She mentioned that before, but you don't know what it means exactly. Who is the Empress's left hand?
The one she put in charge of her military. The one who makes sure that I don't deviate.
Does this have to do anything what happened to Krita with what she didn't want to talk about before?
What makes you think I suddenly want to discuss this matter with you? What you're suggesting is absurd to begin with. I won't entertain such delusions.
As you're talking to Teresa, you hear something in the distance, the sound of one of the Artonian atmospheric transports. Shit, did Dibbidi really decide to go without you? But no, you see Teresa's face briefly turn into a mask of sheer panic.
We need to get you out of sight.
Wait a minute, what's going on?
He's coming!
Who's coming?
The Imperator. We don't have time for this. Get in the closet!
You shuffled unceremoniously into a closet in the side of the room. Something about this gives you a weird sense of déjà vu, as if you've been hiding in a similar position in the past. But something about this feels so much worse, so much more real.
Your Majesty, he's here.
This time, Trisa doesn't correct Ramia's use of her title. You hear her walking to the corner of the room to retrieve her trident.
I know. I saw a ship coming in. Just stay quiet and don't say anything.
Dun dun dun! You hear someone coming up the stairs closely behind Ramil.
My dear heiress, I hope that you're decent. We have to talk.
Do we, though? Do we have to talk? Through the slats of the closet, you have the squint to make out the figure standing in the posing of Triza, the one she called the Imperator. He's tall, with the air of someone who spent most of his life in the military. Even though you've never seen him before, his face looks like someone you met before in your nightmares.
Petrus, what the fuck are you doing here? Haven't you already taken enough from me?
Petrus laughs slowly.
Oh? Are we on first-name basis now, my dear heiress? Please, you knew exactly what you were risking before you attempted that ridiculous stunt. Besides, that isn't even why I'm here. Not exactly.
Not exactly, you say.
Then again, what the fuck are you doing here?
I'm here to inform you that you are to begin to prepare for your upcoming proving. I thought it best that I come in person so as to impress upon you the seriousness of this situation.
Triza's face goes pale and she shakes her head, rocking back on her heels.
Bullshit. Proving isn't until 15 sweeps. I'm just now 12.
The Imperator chuckles as if she just told him a particularly stupid joke.
I believe it's within the rights of her imperious condescension to make some modifications, don't you?
Fuck you, I'm not ready yet!
Be that as it may, you have the next 2 periges to get ready. This will give our Empress the time she requires to return from her latest conquest.
Triza grits her teeth and shifts forward again, leaning a weight on her trident.
And what if I don't want to do that?
You're intimately familiar with what happened the last time you showed this kind of open defiance, Your Majesty.
You know what? Fuck you! What can you do to me that you haven't already done? You want to hurt me? To kill me? Fuck you. Do it. What'll your precious Empress think then?
The Imperator doesn't answer right away, but you can make out the smile playing across his face.
Your implication is correct, of course. I cannot do anything to you. But there is nothing stopping me from skinning her alive.
You gestures toward Ramil, who flinches and draws back. You can see the change in Triza's face even from your hiding spots.
You fucking...
She shifts again, muscles tense like a spring of gun tamer ready to fire, and the Imperator sees it, and he doesn't care.
Your Majesty, I believe that we have another matter to attend to today.
No one says anything, and you can feel the tension in the room. Crap. Petrus turns to the closet, and you get the sense that you should be very quiet. Finally, the Imperator shrugs, turns back to Triza, who's standing right through there like she wants to run the trident right through him. But she doesn't, and you notice the Imperator's hand rests on the pistol at his side. You wonder if Triza could have moved fast enough to beat him to the draw.
I didn't come here to waste my time, Your Majesty. You know what is expected of you. You know the consequences. I fail to see anything else I can add. Make your peace however you will.
The Imperator leans over to Ramil and drops his voice. You have to strain to hear.
And you, my dear Cerulean, will ensure she stays focused and inform me of any issues. Or else I will ensure you die screaming.
Interesting. For 10 minutes you sit in the closet trying to keep your racing heart under control. Tizra and Ramil talk in voices too low for you to overhear. Part of you wants to know, but the other part of you just wants to be able to breathe normally, so you focus on this. Finally, Triza opens the door to the closet and pulls you out.
You see, nothing is ever as simple as it seems.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. It's definitely very different. Yeah, you're definitely getting that impression, which shouldn't even surprise you, I guess. A big question right now is if the incredibly scary violent blood, the High Imperator, is gone or not. Triza shakes her head.
He has most likely retreated to his ship to attend to other business for a while. Come with me. Let's head to the library.
Why? You're not saying you don't want to go anywhere with her. You're just that you're not really getting what this is going to accomplish. Shouldn't you be mostly working on getting out of here?
Oh, trust me. That hasn't left my mind. But there are things you need to know about first. Things about Alternia. Things about me. And why what you're asking is far more complicated than you could possibly imagine.
Teresa, if this one knows a way out, shouldn't we take it?
And with that, I'm going to actually save here. So, with that, main menu, yes. So I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path wherever they might lead you into the future. And see you next time, everybody.